I'm David Lombardino, Editor-in-Chief of DLA Editors and Proofers, here to talk to you about how to write an outstanding personal statement. Today I want to talk to you about being specific in the personal statement. And to do so, I want to talk about what items need to be covered in a personal statement, or the items to be covered in a personal statement. So first item is where your interest in whatever program you're applying for came from. And there's two ways of doing that. You can talk about the specific interest of that specific program or field, or you can talk about characteristics that led into that. A great example would be internal medicine. You're applying for internal medicine. Where did your interest specifically in internal medicine came from? Perhaps it came from something that you experienced in your youth or as a child. Or perhaps it came from something more recent, like your first year in medical school. Well, if it's something that's more recent, you may find it a struggle, you are going to find it a struggle, to write a comprehensive and compelling personal statement if that's where you start. And so you're going to want to start further back. The specific characteristics you have about your personality or who you are, your experience that led you ultimately in the direction of internal medicine. And when I say ultimately, I don't expect this to be a long narrative before you get to talk about internal medicine. What I mean is, if you find internal medicine attractive, what are the specific characteristics about internal medicine that you find attractive, and how do those specific characteristics align with characteristics of your personality or your experience, and start there. Then what you want to do in your personal statement is talk about any significant moments or milestones when that initial interest was either refined or reinforced. So if you start with you had an early desire of internal medicine that was reinforced when you actually were given a stethoscope to use on your sister or brother, or you got to medical school and for the first time in a rotation you were able to treat patients, and you remembered what it was like when you were younger and you saw your father or family member treating patients. There's a lot of options there. And that's an example of reinforcing or even refining that initial interest. Another way of refining that initial interest is if your initial interest was in helping other people, and then that got refined to helping other people through medicine, and then that got refined to helping other people through internal medicine. And so you want to talk about times that initial interest was either refined or reinforced. And then what you want to do is you want to talk about significant accomplishments. So these can either be outstanding achievements, or they can be accomplishments that you have that you want to bring to the attention of the program you're applying to, which could be, for example, any research you've done, any relevant volunteer experience or interesting volunteer experience or work experience, etc. You want to talk about your strengths, and when you talk about your strengths, you want your strengths to come through in whatever it is you describe, as opposed to listing them explicitly. And then of course you want to address any red flags that you may have in your application. And in another video I go into more detail about the kinds of red flags that may exist, and ways to look at red flags and how to talk about them in a personal statement. Finally, you want to talk about your short and medium and long-term career goals. Short-term goals meaning what you're looking to accomplish in the program. Medium and long-term goals meaning what you're looking to accomplish immediately following, and then longer down the road, the completion of the program. And so when you're doing this, or as you're going through each of these items and discussing each of these items in your personal statement, you want to do so providing specific, relevant details. Remember, this is your story, not anybody else's. And so what you don't want to do, you don't want to provide a quote from a famous person. You generally don't want to provide quotes, and I talk about that in a video specifically about quotes. I go into more detail there. You want to stay focused on your particular story and on your narrative. And so you don't want to talk about other people or anything that may distract from that path. Now, a question we get a lot of times is, well, what if I've got a particular interest or characteristic or something I've done, but a lot of people have? Like, you want to go into internal medicine because of a love of solving puzzles. Well, what you do is you don't be worried that other people may have an interest in solving puzzles also and have that as their reason for applying for internal medicine. What you do is you talk about specifically how do they play out in your life. Say, for example, that you loved puzzles when you were a kid, so that anytime somebody asked you what you wanted for a Christmas or birthday present, you wanted a puzzle or something to solve, a Sudoku book, for example. Well, that's how you take something that may generally apply to a lot of people and you make it something specific to you. And that is the key. You want to tell your specific personal narrative in your personal statement. We offer a full range of services for personal statements and would love the opportunity to help you with yours. We offer proofreading, revision and critique, and consultation. Come check out what we have to offer at www.dlaeditors.com. Once again, www.dlaeditors.com.